You know, they've never explained the three-finger retcon in universe. In Abe's Oddysee, all Mudokons had 4 fingers, but they become 3 in the Japanese version of Oddysee and even in all versions of this game because of Japanese meat packers having common work-related accidents, and it was seen as offensive. So I understand why the change happened in terms of real-life reasons, but it's never explained how they suddenly have 3 fingers in universe, nor is it commented on by any of the characters.
That was before the Gluckons started stealing our bones. They used Budokan slaves to do it. Blind ones that couldn't see.
As creepy, fucked up, and as great gameplay elements as these blind Mudokons are, stitching up their eyes is sort of redundant and a waste of moolah. You know, the thing that all Gluckons obsess over. Abe claims that the reason for this is that
The Gluckons didn't want anyone to know what they were digging up.
but if they've been enslaved already, why would they care if these Mudokons knew? If they refuse to dig them up anyway, they could still be dealt with accordingly and force the others to continue digging them up. And either way, this whole secrecy is also redundant, considering they proudly advertise it on their fucking brew bottles. Even if they didn't mention that Mudokon bones were used in particular, it wouldn't matter, because they're still confirming that they're digging up someone's bones somewhere to make these.
The Gluckons are digging up our bones.
You gotta come to Necrum, Abe.
First sin goes to them not telling Abe approximately where Necrum is. Second sin is that these guys are quite clearly the spirits of 3 Mudokon ancestors, as indirectly mentioned later on in the game. But why are there only 3 of them? If the amount of brew bottles that are held in the brew dispensers, which is 99 according to a later cutscene, and they're spread all throughout Oddworld's various locations such as Fico Depot and even the brewery, I'm fairly certain there would be a lot more of these bones dug up and used for the brew. Hell, if they had time to build a rail system, build the whole mine in general, they must have been doing this for quite a while, so what gives? Why are there only 3 of them?
We had to do something, so me and some others left to search for Necrum. Our journey started well. We were kind of excited.
Excited for what exactly? For all they know, they're heading into a place where there's only dead Mudokon bones around, alongside potentially Gluckon security forces, since they've infiltrated the place alongside its inner areas, like the Mudomo and Mudanshi vaults.
But by lunchtime, we were getting pretty tired.
By Abe's use of the word lunchtime, alongside Abe getting excited when looking at the posters for Paramite Pies and Scrap Cakes in Abe's Oddysee, it's quite evident that these guys eat and drink just like us humans. Considering they don't even know where Necrum is, and the search took almost a whole day, nobody thought of somehow taking food and drink with them? Sure, it wouldn't be any Gluckon processed food and drink, but these guys are undoubtedly eating and drinking somehow, so...
It's 'cause you were in this mess.
Excuse me? I saved you from literal slavery! Yeah, I guess some of the blame is on Abe for not allowing the group to take any breaks, or even bring a small amount of food and drink, supposedly. But come on, are you seriously suggesting that Rupture Farms was a better experience than this?
Can I go home?
Seriously? Oh, Jesus Christ, I hope you enjoyed the 10-hour walk again.
Where is that
Okay, so the entire group ducks to avoid the train. The same train that was shown literally a second ago to be far away from them. Even if you want to argue that they were caught by surprise, they chose to duck near the train instead of running away from it. Still, there would be no point anyway. The train couldn't hit them.
Hey, look at that! It's a bone.
Ah, how convenient. Only one bone manages to fall out of the train, and it lands right in front of them.
So I think we're close. Let's go!
Yeah, let's go.
All of these guys, who have been walking for nearly the whole day and was literally complaining about it earlier, suddenly have enough energy to run. Okay, how was I supposed to know that all of the Mudokons were bitten by radioactive spiders between Oddysee and this game? You can clearly see some bone containers in this shot, but then they completely disappear from the above railing a few seconds later. There were 6 of you in total, including Abe, and 4 regular Mudokons are seen climbing this as indicated by their green skin. But then when they decide to land, only 3 regular muds are shown, 4 counting Abe, who wasn't even in the same shot earlier. So where are the other two? Even if you want to argue that they didn't climb up yet, there were 4 regular Mudokons climbing, so one is still missing despite all of them climbing up at the same time.
Look out, Abe. Oh.
Abe doesn't die from this.
Down a cliff.
Adding another sin because this is exactly where we start the game, so it's implied that despite all of this, he ended up being perfectly fine, which already contradicts the fall from the opening where he got knocked out.
Boy, take the something to drink!
Don't drink that,
Why not?
cause if brew's made by gluckins, it's probably bad for you.
Abe, you were literally foaming at the mouth when you saw paramite pies and scrab cakes back at Rupture Farms in Oddysee, meaning you've tried them before and really liked them. And it didn't pose any harm. Why are you suddenly against the crew drinking some of the brew now? You could at the very least give it a try and see if it would do any harm, but outright refusing the brew at first is a bit strange, provided that Alf reminds you that the whole crew walked across the desert. And remember, Abe and the crew doesn't know that this is what the Mudokon bones are being used for yet. First sin, this Mudokon's voice literally changes to another in the span of a few seconds, despite having a different voice earlier.
Look, Abe, we came all this way just to help you.
Well, but
It's not unreasonable that we are just a little bit thirsty. Now is it?
yeah, but
In case you didn't notice, we just walked across a desert.
So back off, Stitch Lips!
Second sin, the Mudokon on the far right teleports right next to the one that started calling Abe out between shots. How? How?
but they drank the brew anyway. Lots of it. Then they got all sick looking, but they still wanted more.
This brew bottle not only doesn't shatter when he drops it, alongside the 98 others lying randomly all over the place, but this one for some reason doesn't have the front and back labels in the shot before he drops it. Speaking of which, you can clearly hear it shatter when Abe drops the exact same bottle this time, which is also missing a label. That's 99 cents.
That's when I figured this whole thing out. Brew is made from our bones! This is bad. What do I do now?
What do you do? How about leading us out of here?
Speaking of which, how did you get there? The place is quite clearly barely guarded, so there'd be no reason for you to be brought here. And in case you didn't realize, you're bloody blind!
Okay, follow me.
Okay.
But oops, I forgot he was blind.
What do you mean, I forgot he was blind? You've just met him! It's the first blind Mudokon you've encountered as well! And also, how could you not see the stitches on his eyes? The medium shot with him literally shows the light shining towards his face. You should be able to see them. Ah, well, unless you're blind too, Abe.
Oops,
Also, no remorse for the guy you accidentally led to his bloody death.
I forgot he was blind. Help me rescue the rest of them.
Of course I will, because if I didn't, you'd probably have led many other blind mods to their death the exact same way at this rate.
I can't believe it. That's him. It's that Abe guy. Promotion. Here I come.
Well placed the comedic sound effect. I'm removing a sin for that. But hold on, these two cutscenes don't line up. Abe only notices the flying Slig when it's almost right in his face. But in the cutscene after, he reacts way earlier and manages to jump away far before he even gets to the point he did in the last scene. Also, what was the Slig planning to accomplish? Run itself into him? Why didn't you just shoot a grenade at him like all the others in this game do? So despite the fact we quite clearly see Abe's flesh catch on fire, it just immediately disappears by the time we see the close-up of him again. How exactly did those flames get ignited again?
Guys, weirdos, whatever you are. Did you know that the Gluckins are using your bones to make Soulstorm brew?
They literally told you this at the start of the game, minus it being used specifically for the brew. And even if the weirdos didn't know it was used exactly for said brew, why would it matter? The goal would still be the same. which would be to shut down whatever Gluckin industry is digging up the Mudokon bones.
Your bones to make Soulstorm brew?
Of course we do. That's why we need you.
What could I do?
You shut down Rupture Farms. You can shut down the brewery too.
You want me to shut down Soulstorm Brewery?
What else did you think you were here for? Honestly, Abe not expecting this makes very little sense to me, considering the weirdos were very clear about them needing his help to stop the Gluckins that were digging up their bones.
Come on up.
No, and improved.
Well, what is it?
Don't think. Drink.
Oh, tasty.
All of the brew bottles here are missing the extra bone back labels.
They couldn't stop. Then those Gluckins told them that if they wanted to work, they could have all the brew they wanted.
Only if you got a job.
They fell for it.
Step right up. Oh, I love this job.
I love this moment. Minus the sin.
Hey! I got a career to consider! What are we gonna do about it, huh? What?
I don't know,
What is Dripic even saying here? Is it even intelligible English?
No, you idiot. We're gonna lock this place up so tight that ape guy'd have to be invisible to get in.
I mean, he's not wrong. There is a section in Fico Depot that is completely impossible to get through unless you have an invisibility ring. So minus the sin for actually keeping his word, unlike many other villains in fiction. Oh, put your back into it, you lazy slacker. You weren't this tired when you walked across the desert for nearly the whole day. Or is this all the running finally catching up to him? Oh, never mind, he was just slacking. Gotcha.
To prevent the renegade terrorist Mudakin known as Abe from possibly destroying Soulstorm Brewery, the main security gates can only be opened by direct order of high-ranking executives General Dripic, Vice President Slig, and Director Slig.
Why would a public news network ever reveal who exactly Abe needs to go through to gain access to the brewery? They could have just perfectly said that the security gates could only be opened by specific high-ranking executives and just leave it at that. Man, it's like you want the brewery to get destroyed.
If you have any further questions, please feel free to pull the lever to your right.
The most pointlessly guarded place in all of Oddworld.
Hey, this is,
Dripic.
Minus a sin for Abe remembering Dripic's personality from the earlier cutscene and getting it down to a T. Really goes to show how important these cutscenes are without just pushing the importance of it in your face.
Bone production down. The Magog on the march. News you can use. Director Slig reports bone production down. Ow!
It ain't my fault! It's that Abe guy! First Rupture Farms, now Necromines! There ain't no bones anywhere! No bones, no brew! I am totally screwed! My career is over! And it's all that blue bastard's fault!
This is Director Flag.
Yes, sir.
Disengage Operation Lightning Bolt.
Huh? What?
Disarm the main gates.
Oh.
Doors, you idiot!
Minus a sin for Abe remembering Dripic's personality from the earlier cutscene and getting it down to a T.
The Magog on the march. News you won't lose. Vice President Slig addresses Mudakin workers.
Those stinking slaves! I mean, my fellow employees. Uncle Aslic's been taking good care of you, right? I love all of you like you was my own, right? But if we don't catch this Abe guy, it's the brew vats for all of you!
I can't believe I'm still removing sins, but I have to. These are great introductions of these characters. And in this case, it's showing that despite his Uncle Aslig facade, he's possibly the most antagonistic towards the Mudokons out of him and the other two Glucks. On the other hand though, very quickly losing his cool despite this desperate attempt to keep his self-fabricated image in check.
Message brought to you by Soulstorm Brew. Our spew is your brew.
Blech. You, real marketable.
Yeah. What do you want? Hey! Vice President Slig. Yes, sir.
Disarm the main gate!
I'm a little suspicious that this one Slig doesn't just ask Slig why the hell he has to disable the main gates after the other two very quickly got him to disable theirs. How is it still the same time of day from when Abe got there? Abe literally shut down the Barracks, Boneworks, and Fico. Not to mention the mines earlier. Are you telling me that he did it this quickly? Yeah, not buying it.
The Magog on the march. News for your blues. Warning. Abe the Mudakan terrorist has infiltrated Soulstorm Brewery.
And you know this? How? I'll accept that everyone else managed to find out about the deceased Glocks Abe encountered. But how would they know that Abe is already in the brewery? Did they just guess because the gates are disabled? Well, it's not explained, so sin. Cool gameplay footage used for the TV here, but it's a little jarring since we're watching this from a pre-rendered cutscene point of view.
Hey! How are we doing on tiers?
20 gallons an hour, boss.
What?
It ain't my fault, boss. We keep running out of Mudokons. They keep disappearing.
I don't need excuses! I need tears! Turn up the gain! Do it!
I'm on it, boss. First our meat, then our bones, now our tears.
How are these guys not able to spot Abe when he's not in the shadows? This guy almost seems like he's looking in his direction, for crying out loud. Why are you standing still? Not only in the direction of the third guy that was looking at you earlier, but in a very visible spot. We're playing this scene from the beginning though because it's easily one of the best in the game. Removing a sin too.
Hey! That bastard Abe's here! I demand to know who is at fault here! You're not pinning it on me!
I'm telling you, it's that Abe guy. Sal, dump it, lose it, get rid of it. I work hard.
What if it gets to the boiler? The boiler?
The boiler?
What are we going to do?
The boiler.
What are we going to do?
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere, Stitch Lips!
You didn't save our buddy.
But guys, it was hard.
And you ain't getting away with it.
I already mentioned this in part 1 of my Oddworld Soulstorm and Abe's Exoddus comparison, but even if Abe wasn't able to save a whole lot of Mudokons here, he still saved all 99 Mudokons from Rupture Farms. So to see them treat him as if that meant nothing just doesn't feel right to me. And why I also think that Soulstorm's bad ending makes a bit more sense than this one.
No, please, no. Jesus, oh, no, guys, no.
It is a thing of beauty! This will be our finest brew ever!
I'd probably chalk this up to just him being excited that I managed to catch Abe, but what are you talking about? These are going to be tears produced from just one Mudokon. Mudokon savior or not with the Shrikal and Brew healing tattoos, he's still just a regular Mudokon that would produce the same amount of tears as everybody else. Maybe slightly more because of his timid nature, but that's about it.
What?
Oops, sorry, boss.
For some reason, the Brewmaster, the one obsessed with making as much good quality brew as possible, is okay with the source of the finest brew ever, quote unquote, dying on him.
Where's ground? Pants. I need some pants.
I'd assume that this was the Brewmaster's assistant from earlier, so why the hell doesn't he have his legs on right now? If anything, that's his best bet of getting away, even if it's almost inevitable that he'll also perish in the explosion.
It's not fair! We had twice! He fled out!
Now that is just true dedication to your craft. Hats off to you, Brewmaster. Even when the boilers explode, you can still see them fully intact in the background.
I got out of there just in time.
And only now it becomes night?
The Mudokons were slowly coming together. And they were using their skills to build something new.
Oh yes, ingenious idea, guys. Get the blind Mudokon to do a job that requires a little bit of visual precision.
Can I share now? No. Just shut up.
All was going well,
Irony.
and we were gonna find them.
Cool moment and all, but time with the weirdos. Why are they doing this? I literally can't find an answer to this outside of headcanon assumptions.
We interrupt this program to bring you this special news bulletin. Rumor Control reports that Abe, the terrorist mastermind behind the destruction of Rupture Farms, is also behind the Soulstorm Brewery atrocity.
I hate that guy!
How are you still alive?